Hi, this is Bruce Levine, and I'm an independent residential real estate broker located in Del Mar, California, and this is a short report for my clients and my friends. I want to cover 3 items today that home buyers should be thinking about when buying a home in today's market. Each of the 3 can be a major impacting factor as to whether they succeed or whether they fail, and so since I like to see my clients succeed and not fail, I try to cover these things with every single buyer that I represent. The 3 areas I want to cover are buying the right house, not just the right deal. Choosing the right lender, in which we'll discuss how this item means not just looking at the interest rate and terms you're being offered, but looking far beyond that. And we'll talk about what that means. And also how to make an offer that gives you the best chance of actually succeeding in a competitive market. First, let's talk about buying the right house, not the right deal. I'll put it simply. When all is said and done and you own your new house and the boxes are unpacked, and each day you spend at your house, you're not going to remember the deal, you're going to remember the house. So buy the right house. Don't buy the one that has a little bit lower price, but has a correspondingly poorer location or poorer condition or some other detriment. Buying the better house will make you feel better about the entire process, and it will likely outperform the deal house as an investment because it has superior innate qualities that were attractive enough to you to make it feel like it's a superior house. Let me put it another way. Let's just say you were dating and you're looking for a marriage partner, and a superior marriage prospect required more of your heart and more of your spirit in order to snag them. And you knew they were a better partner for you. Wouldn't you make that commitment instead of marrying someone who wasn't as good? Well, it's the same way with a house, only better, and here's the best part. You can sell a house when you want to move on. You just sell it. You call me, you put it on the market, and it's done. So buy the right house, not the one that smells like a deal but isn't as good a house, and I believe you will live happier while you own the home and afterwards. Second, let's discuss lender choices. Of course you have to compare interest rates. I've had real estate agents tell me that interest rates shouldn't matter, and that's crazy because it impacts what you cost. Closing costs, terms, interest rates matter. But closing your loan on time at the price and terms that were promised matters at least as much. And you should work with a lender that's vetted by me or by somebody you know and somebody you trust. In this market where lenders dot every I and cross every T before they'll send you loan documents to sign or fund your loan, the underwriting process can be incredibly difficult. And I've experienced recent horror stories where buyers work with a lender with a great interest rate and terms, offering a great interest rate and terms, but who failed to close their loan on time. And they wound up incurring additional costs, sometimes a lot of additional costs, to keep the escrow going and to keep their rate lock. And while in the cases that I'm citing, 100% of the problem wasn't with the lender, a lot of it was. And a well-vetted lender who charges a small amount more, an 1/8 of a point more, or somewhat higher closing costs, might wind up being a better deal, both in terms of how much they ultimately charge you and whether they close on time and help you accomplish what you want, which is your goal. So in short, make sure you have complete information about the lender you choose from people that you trust and who have ample experience with them. There are a lot of good lenders out there, and there's even more bad ones. So know the facts before you choose and make that final decision. Lastly, let's talk about how to make the best offer you can to help ensure that you succeed. In a world where some houses receive 20 offers, how on earth do you stand out? Obviously, the price that you offer matters. I'd be lying to you if I told you that it doesn't. Sellers want to sell for as much money as they can, although ultimately it's not always the only thing they consider. If you're not an all-cash buyer, the viability of your financing matters. Agent credibility in the agent community matters. So working with a successful, well-respected professional, myself or somebody else that meets that criteria, instead of your good friend or your relative who just got the real estate license, that's probably a good idea. If you were having brain surgery, you wouldn't hire your neighbor or your friend who just learned how to do brain surgery. You'd hire the best brain surgeon that you can. It should be the same way when you're making one of the most expensive purchases of your life. It should be a business decision. So the more down payment you have, great, that can help. But even then, if you're competing against other buyers who have just as much or even more cash, what do you do? I've helped some buyers succeed by including unusually large earnest money deposits with their offers. The money goes into escrow when escrow opens, and it's applicable towards their down payment and their closing costs. And if the buyer cancels, so long as they're not committing acts of fraud during the escrow period, the buyer gets their full deposit back. In all the transactions I've done in my life, I've never had a client lose even 1 cent of their earnest money deposit. And I've seen several buyers succeed by offering their entire down payment plus closing costs as earnest money. And in a world where sellers wonder if a buyer who's making an offer is really serious, this is a way to show that you're serious and get their attention. When they're reviewing 20 offers, how do you stand out so that they actually even read your offer when they all look alike? That's one way. Buyers can also substantially reduce the number of days for their contingencies from the 17 days cited in the California Association of Realtors boilerplate. 7 days should be sufficient in most cases to get a home inspection done and its results reviewed. In many cases, 3 or 5 days is enough time to do that. So why lessen your chances of an offer being accepted by demanding a 17-day free look when you don't need it? Sellers are savvy about this sort of stuff. They're well informed. So if you're a buyer, you need to be as well if you want to succeed. I have other buyer strategies to discuss, and they'll be included in upcoming videos. So if you want to talk to me before I post those, just call me, write me, Facebook me, whatever you need. So if this sort of approach resonates with you, and if you want to buy or sell real estate in the San Diego area, I'd love to hear from you. If you know of someone with a similar need and you actually like or care about them and respect them, then I'd especially like to hear from you. This is Bruce Levine. I'm an independent residential real estate broker in Del Mar, California. I'm available at 858-733-0043, Bruce at brucelevinehomes.com. You can also contact me on Facebook or read reviews about my business on the consumer website Yelp by searching Bruce Levine or Bruce Levine Homes in Del Mar, California. Thank you very much for watching today.